Online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Well, fuck me sideways. Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line! You shall not pass!
Something to think about if you throw trash on Texas highways. Somebody up there is going to be watching.
Oh no, you did not shoot that green shit at me!
I have you now.
Watch the birdie!
Must go faster.
Inconceivable!
Say hello to my little friend!
Come out, wherever you are.
Peekaboo!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
It's over, Anakin! I'm at the high ground! Don't try it!
Armor piercing, loaded!
Special delivery!
Target to...
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Gotcha, bitch!
Lose my voice, or is the settings right now? Looks like I lost my voice. But anyways, yeah, sorry. I had that turned down, so I was actually moving stuff around here. I didn't want that coming across too much. Anyways, still no sound. Oh, shit. Oh, gotcha. Thanks, Sniper. Gotcha. All right, gentlemen and ladies. Or I should say lady, because only one actually joins us here, and I don't see her in the chat right now. So first things first, I would say pop a top, but I got my live stream juice. We'll just call it that here. And that's my toast to everybody out there. Thank you guys for being here. And I already look, and I wonder how many do I got in here? We got enough. All right. Let's immediately start to this live stream with the first episode or first story that came up over the past week. She's a monster. So am I. This one went over decently well. As you guys know, I took a little stuff from Vietnam and did the Copperhead Road things, but I did talk about it a lot last week, so I'm not going to get too much into it. The only reason it's here is a few people kind of got the references on the end. They got 2 out of the 3. When they left, remember I told you the docs were actually touching a plaque on the way by. There was the one more from Doss, the medic over in the Pacific. There was the MASH reference from 4077. And there was one you guys missed. However, if he's here, I don't see him. Steve, if he gets to here, he's going to know exactly what it is. There's 3 laws for the medics. Says men die in combat, the doc can't save anybody, and doc will go through hell to violate rules 1 and 2. So that was why it says the 3 rules. So anyways, just want to go over that. Not going to spend too much time. Going to go over right here to oh, you know what? God damn, I couldn't find one of them, guys. So you know what? I will put on, what will I put on? You know what? Let's just look at something that's a lot better to look at than myself. Okay. Gonna go over, you want a piece of humans? They wanted the whole damn thing. Which one was the guy losing his head? I told like 3 or 4 of them there, Skip. So you're going to have to narrow that one down. Anyways, are you talking about somebody we shot at or somebody I know? You're going to have to narrow that one down. I've said a lot of stuff on there. Anyways, yeah, the whole point of the one you want a piece of humans is, you notice one of the things they screwed up on is they gave us time to prepare. They started coming in and all of a sudden, we know they wanted to harvest us. However, now they're fighting amongst each other. Well, we take care of everything on the ground, and while they're still fucking off in space, we're like, you know what? We're going to sharpen our spears, and we're going to just end up on that one. And yeah. Anyways, that was pretty much it that was on there. So I'm going to take that one off, even though I know you guys like looking at Diana's ass. But we're going to be talking about different Diana here later. So I'm going to run through these fairly quick. A surviving human clan. Okay, this one was requested, and I don't see him yet. Brian should be in here soon enough, but this was his requested one. And someone, I won't mention who, said I wouldn't get to it for 2 weeks, so I literally jumped it up to the front. And there you go. Anyway, sorry guys, I'm getting distracted by the chat a little bit. Hold on, let me get some focus juice in me. Not to mention when this kicks in, I don't mind bitching up a storm. Anyways, yeah, if you guys didn't figure this one out, because it was right towards the end of the story, I know since I used one thumbnail, you guys aren't staring at it, but when the students are actually sitting there trying to figure out what it means because the translator is not making any sense, it shows exactly where this comes from. Okay. And if you don't, and the bottom was ride free or stay on Earth, that's an amalgamation of ride free or stay home. That's with the biker gangs, and one in particular that he requested. So that's what that one's from. And thankfully, Brian seemed to like it. I didn't get any complaints, and there wasn't a lot of comments except for, good story and all that, which I appreciate. So anyways, I'm going to take that one off, and I'm going to move over here to my pet monster. A few of the comments, guys, these were kind of interesting. I was surprised. I wasn't expecting to have the song Feed Jake stuck in my head for a few hours, because usually I read these before I go write, and made it a little difficult to write when I had the song going through my head all the time. It's a really good song. It's going to depress the shit out of you, but it's a good song. I do have to say on this one, I know I left it open-ended. I left this open-ended because I didn't know how well this one was going to go over. I wasn't really impressed with it myself. So yeah, I didn't know how it was going to go, so I didn't extend on it too much, but I left the option open. Anyway, somebody put in here story idea because the whole thing about the dog being on the leash. The galactic senators, I guess you could say, being as douchey as senators actually are, end up going to Earth and then coming back on the leash of like a child. And I'm just like, you know what? That'd be hilarious. Sort of. My brain's trying to figure out how to make that work without being campy as all hell. Let's see how the gray matter works. So yeah, let's see. There wasn't much on that, so I'm going to go on to the next one, which is the current series that's going. Who or what is inside? You were right. Now it's not this thumbnail, but the other picture is the only one I could find of a ship that's actually attached to an asteroid. So yes, that was from Space Engineers. Congratulations, you win. And there was another comment. The microgravity. If you guys are going to be doing anything inside an asteroid field, now asteroids are pretty far apart, so you can pretty much zip through them pretty easy if you know what you're doing, or you have an AI that's halfway decent. The only problem is you get close to a large interstellar object, it's going to have a its own gravity. It's a little bit of a field. So when you're working around that area, yeah, it's going to twist you in some ways. It's going to pull your stomach one way and your heart the other for a second, and it's going to make you want to puke. I did touch on that when they brought the ship inside the other ship and they had to prep for the changing gravity. Something I don't usually talk about, but like I keep saying, there's a million ways to die in space. They all suck. This just happens to be one of them that won't kill you, but it's not going to make life fun. And I had to put that in there specifically because as I was writing, I had that same scene from the Trekkie Treks movie before they all went totally to crap. When you had, what's his name? The guy with the ridges on his head that looks like an deposed butt crack or something. But the captain's like, you remember your zero-G combat training? I remember it made me sick to my stomach. Well, yeah, you changing gravities like that, it's going to make you fucking sick. But yeah, good catch on that, by the way. Somebody said the story is working into the title. Yes, it is. I'm going to even show you guys. Now, not all these pages. Hold on, let me pull that off the screen there. Not all these pages are the current working chapter. Actually, most of this is the previous one I did. I've got 1, 2, 3. Was it 3? Yeah, I'm about 4 pages done on this next one. I need another 4 or 5 before I'm done with this chapter. And is it going to play into the title? Yes, it will. And I have a feeling, even though it has a slow build-up, you guys are going to like where this is going. I'm not going to tell you because we don't do spoilers here, but just be ready to do the the laugh. I got you, you bastard. So, yeah. It's not an... somebody asked if it was an algorithmic cope thing. I don't know how that comes in algorithmic cope. But hold on.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Something is right because we got a $5 super chat from Douglas Scarborough. Let me write this down real quick. I can't actually read it. Well, I can, but on short. He says, I love the story since current storyline could let humans get some revenge on the slavers. Don't get ahead of me, okay? Okay, there's hints, man. I'm hinting at stuff. A little bit of foreshadowing. Not saying there's anything specific going to happen. Hold on. God dang it. But you guys will just have to wait and see. There's a lot of shit that's got to happen before that can even be thought of. Okay? And by the time I'm done, you guys are going to be like, okay, I got you now. Okay? There's this next chapter has a lot of build-up details in it. So it's not going to be action-packed, But like I said, it's going to be to explain things. All right, back to where I was. And thank you again, Douglas. Appreciate it. All right. Rule 34. I put that in for good reason, because if you have spent any time looking into how CGI has been working so far, you are going to come across, giggity, a certain type of android that is about 60% synthetic flesh and the rest is robotic. That is pretty much what this synthetic species designed themselves to look like, to be more aesthetically pleasing. I'm sure you guys probably know exactly who I'm talking about, even though I didn't put the picture on. I had them on before. But I will end up probably putting those on later just to bring my point across. That is why two separate characters said, what is this? Rule 34? What the fuck? And I hope you guys like the whole yoga poses thing, because I actually chuckled when thinking about that, because it falls in the same things. Think about when we were all young. I know for some of us, it's way far back. But when we were young, the girls wanted to be adult, and they used to like get these like weird poses, and you're just like, are you trying to like reach behind your neck and scratch your ass and like pull up your other arm? What are you doing? I'm trying to look adult. You look ridiculous. It was funny, but yeah. So anyways, now last thing on, oh shit, let me put that back on there. The last thing on who or what is inside. Somebody asked me if this is going to be a long series. I would have liked it to be longer than it's looking like it's going to be. However, I have to judge these by the way I'm getting views. Right now, the views for this one are dropping very quickly. So this might be only a 5 or 6 episode series. It was supposed to be like 10 or 12. However, I got to do what's best for the channel, guys. I've gone and done a month's worth of not good for the channel once, and I still haven't recovered. So I got to be careful on that. It is what it is. Now, I will say also that the series My Ship was requested to be continued. We'll see. I got when I finally get moved downstairs, we're waiting on somebody to help us with the carpentry and electric. Okay, I could do most of it. However, I would do a shit job compared to them. They are fucking experts. You're gonna see, because I'll actually you can't see it, but I'm actually tapping the green screen right now. Once we're down there, I'll remove the green screen. You'll be able to see the whiteboard behind me. It's going to be basically the entire wall painted gloss or white gloss with clear plastic over it, so I can write on it and then erase it right over it again. You guys will see what's coming up in the background. That's the plan. If I'm currently working on something that has a lot of notes and you guys don't, you guys know I don't do spoilers, I'll just have the green screen up and we're good. By the way, thank you again, Skip. I appreciate the green screen. It's a whole lot better than you guys looking at my closet. And no, I'm not in the closet. Anyways.
Swing.
Wow, that was loud. Didn't expect that. Or I don't know if that one's coming in loud for you guys. Something is with this thing. Whatever was done to this machine, I don't know what the fuck is going on. All right. All right, let me adjust my notes because there's something I want to get to first. All right. You know, I'm going to actually put on a quick video while I switch my gears here. And I guess, eeny, meeny, miny, gears. Yeah, I'd rage out too if I suddenly shit myself because something that was shaped like a skull just tried to strangle me. Anyways, I don't have any pictures of this one, guys, because it hasn't come out yet. The movie He-Man I don't know if you guys heard, but He-Man looks like he's sucking down soy. And apparently the leaks are out, and Skeletor is supposed to be the epitome of toxic masculinity. And the whole idea of He-Man having he, him on his nameplate is supposed to show that he's an ally. I know. I tried to think of it logically before, and my brain just actually cracked right down the center. It's terrible. It's just, all I can ask, what are they thinking? He-Man was the biggest, brawniest son of a bitch out there. He was strong enough to quite literally lift Mount Everest and throw it at you. And these fuckers are gonna be like, well, he's a kind boy now. He's a nice guy now. He's all this and that and the other thing. Fuck right off. I mean, fuck right the hell off. No, absolutely not. Apparently, also the video game Fair Games, apparently it made a big splash, but now it's shown to be modern audience slag. Oi. Why do they do that? Why? I mean, that's about as bad as the new Spider-Man game. It's not even got an alpha test out yet, and the slugs are freaking out because Black Cat is attractive. Have they seen her in the fucking comics, people? She is literally genetic engineered at that point, and she was from a rather attractive woman to start with. So just like the Spartans behind me, genetically engineered means, damn, I'd climb her like a tree just to pick her cherry. So anyways, it's just, sorry, got to hit the button now.
Giggity, giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
So anyway, it just amazes me. We can't have nice things. We can't. It's just, okay. Let me relax. Crap, we got to talk about Marathon next. Fuck me. Okay. Apparently, you guys know Marathon they tried to make it the new hit thing, and it just sucks. It was made for modern audiences, and guess what modern audiences don't do? Play fucking video games. They don't do that. They actually spend too much money on hair products, nail products, and cosmetic surgery and shit like that. They don't spend money on video games. If they did, they wouldn't have such a bad opinion of them. However, the modern audiences are fucking right off, and they're on to the next target, which is going to be the next thing we talk about. And good God, people, this one I do have some words about, okay? And let me get let me give me a sec to remove a couple of these from the studio because I'm not going to need them anymore. I'm going to throw this one on here. You guys probably recognize this already because this game just came out. And since it just came out, one of the first things that came out is people played the game, they took the cutscenes, and I decided I was going to lose 2 hours of sleep so I could do this fucking review of the cutscenes and the story. This one is a non-spoiler. I'm going to stress that one again. This is a non-spoiler. So if you're ready to play this, do not let me stop you from enjoying anything. This game, from what I can see, storyline-wise, is, it's cliche as fuck. I'm sorry. It's cliche as fuck. I mean, now, don't get me wrong. They do some great things. Storyline-wise, I'm just talking storyline, it is cliche. Okay? Character-wise, when they develop these two characters, these are the two main characters. It's Diana and I forget who the fuck his name is. Honestly, it doesn't matter because as you can see, he's got his faceplate on. He's that way for almost the entire thing. You barely remember what the fuck this guy looks like. However, when they were building these characters, they did an excellent job. Bravo. Bra fucking vo. If I still had something on my soundboard where I could give you a cheer, I would. But unfortunately, that one got deleted. And I'm still mad about that. But they did an excellent, unbelievable job with the characters. It's just like Godzilla -1. They did such a good job with the characters. You don't give a shit that Godzilla wasn't on the screen for more than about 20 minutes in like a 3-hour movie. I gotta admit, they're good. Now, when I look at the way these two characters are, one thing did hit me. And I was wondering why it looked familiar. Does this or does not look like a futuristic version of something you would see on BioShock with the guy in the big suit and the little girls? And yet the slugs didn't go after that. And yes, I will call them slugs because they're really slow to get it. It's just one of the weird things that hit me. And I'm just... Now, I will say the villain, I'm not going to say too much about that because there's other parts of the story. Again, this is spoiler alert free. It just gave me serious Raccoon City vibes, okay? And I'm just like, what in the ever-loving shit stains? Now, for those, and I'm not spoiling anything, everybody knows that the little girl that's there, you know, I'm going to just put this other picture of her on like this, because this is the picture they're using mainly. Okay. Everybody knows she's not human. She's a synthetic being. She's an android. Okay. Everybody knows that. I'm not spoiling shit. And all I can say is the storyline would have gone very different, and the slugs would have been different if she had a more adult body. They have this weird thing where everything in all of video games has to be sexualized. And I'm sitting there just... Now I kind of wish I had the picture of the... What are you thinking? No. Absolutely not. I will say this. She was given serious Ghost in the Shell vibes a lot of times. And if you haven't seen that, that is not the live action one. The live action blows ass nuggets. Okay. That is literally shooting diarrhea out the nose. It's bad. The original anime movie. Watch that and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, sorry, I had to moisten the throat by burning it. I want to change here. Now, I couldn't get any pictures from the game as far as how they were using their version of nanomachines. I will say this. It's right in the beginning, so I'm not spoiling anything. They explain how the technology works. Here's the kicker. You know how in my thumbnail, every single time in the corner, it says, is it still fiction? This technology exists already. We're just not allowed to have it, because if we were allowed to have this technology, you could build your own house as long as you have the blueprint. I'm not even kidding. You would have to sit there and go layer after layer after layer after layer, which is, yes, what they showed right in the beginning. It's how do I put this? It's subtle in the way they show it. However, it does play into the game later on. And that's another thing, storyline. They did an okay job where shit in the beginning worked at the end. Yes. Okay. It's somebody who creates stories. I appreciate it when they put the work in and they don't just pull things, you know, pull them or pull them right out of their ass. But I'll tell you what, that technology, it's nanomachines, it's harmonics, it's frequency, and it fucking works. I know it sounds futuristic. I know it sounds sci-fi. This is the sort of shit that they put in media, they put in movies, they put in TV, they put in video games now to get people used to the idea. Because once this comes out, it is going to change everything. Now, I'm going to talk about more how that's going to change later on. And honestly, it's scary. But for right now, let's just stay on target. Stay on target. You can see already the technology can rebuild something from scratch. They go over it. It's wonderful. However, again, if this technology comes out, I can think of several folks right off the bat who are going to be out of business. Construction workers is a big one. Is fucking huge. They would literally be going up with giant machines, which would soon be automated to simply go around and build these things. Okay, all types of construction, from the metal workers to the simple laborers, to the plumbers, electricians, the carpenters, everybody. The glazers are even going to be out of work, and that's going to piss everybody off. Expect the shooting to start, and any construction from horizontal to vertical. And if you don't know the difference between the two, horizontal is what you do on the ground to prep everything. That'll end up being done by an AI bulldozer. To vertical as the actual building. Now the vertical is going to go first because you'll see in the game. They also show how they actually put in there is a med bed, which is obvious. They need to have one. It's sci-fi. So doctors, most of them would be shitting themselves out of all this training they've done, and now they're going to be out of work. But the thing is, even with that technology, you still need doctors. You still need to patch them up enough so they can survive to actually get there. And I'm not even talking about doc and EMT. I'm talking about actual doctors who can go in and pull that piece of foreign objects and debris out of a person before you put them in. I do that in my own stories. You got to get the debris out of there, or it's just going to form everything around it. And then you got a piece of God knows what already right up against your heart, which is, as we can say, it's bad. It's quite bad. A lot of technicians are going to be needed. However, much more limited than you think, as people are going to have to diagnose the problems. Okay, because let's face it, technology is a machine. Machines break. It's just that simple. Let's see. One of the key things is robotic tech and they're going to be able to build that from just about anything. It's going to take a hell of a lot longer than they showed in the game. I'll tell you that. And they showed how the future is. Wow, my handwriting sucks. How it's coming fast. And, I don't mean coming as in, I mean, guys, be ready for another age. Now, most of us here are either Generation X or what's known as Zennial. I fall into mostly the Zennial instead of Gen X because I'm so far at the tail end of Gen X. Because of that, we went from a completely analog age to semi-analog to, there's a different name for that, but I don't remember, to digital, to informational, to now we're going into robotic. I mean, we're used to the different ages. We're going to be fine. We will be completely motherfucking fine. All right. She's starting to creep me out, staring me in the face. So I'm going to put that one back on. So anyways, yeah, just get ready for shit to change again, and we will find a way, because if we don't, whatever. Gen X knows exactly what I'm talking about. All right. I will say, and this is what I was going to talk about, worrying about all this. When this technology comes in, the estimates roughly worldwide, 67% unemployment over the next 10 years once this is replaced, or once this technology comes out. I predict that to happen a lot sooner, honestly. A lot sooner. Reason being is people who don't need to earn will demand this technology much faster. And these are the people that don't work. They just live off the government tit. And, that's when we're going to be forced UBI, universal basic income, and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it's going to get very questionable. It's not going to affect me all too much. I mean, yeah, my revenue is going to probably drop a bit, but I have my retirement. And unless they say, we can fix you, we can put your body back to the way it was at the age of 20. And I'd be like, dude, I didn't stop growing until I was 22. So raise that up a little bit. But they say, okay, we're going to put that back in and, or put you back there, and we're just going to give you another 5 years of retirement, and then you're up shit's creek without a paddle. So we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. I will say this: coders. They said coders will be the first ones to go, but they predicted 2028. And by they, I was watching. I believe it was on the Sean. He was a Sean Ryan show or Barry Stepp or whatever. He showed this and. They said 2028. I say it's going to be probably early to mid next year. Because we have so many algorithms that already code for us. And here's the fun thing, guys. Now this actually falls into the channel. If you guys remember a story I did called Civil War, where what I did was I talked about how wars are civil because it's nothing but machines fighting machines now. It's kind of freaky to think that soldiers, and yes, I see War Sniper, you put that on too. I'm sure you saw the same thing. That soldiers would be quote unquote obsolete for the battlefield. That's not entirely true. What they're going to do is very simple. They're going to have constant tryouts, trials, tribulations, and everything. And if you're cut, just like going through BUDS or going through SFAS or going through any other special forces, once you're cut, you're done. You don't get a second chance. They're going to take the cream of 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 the crop. And those are the guys that are going to be in the exosuits out there doing all this stuff. Okay, so you're not going to need much. So putting all that together, life is going to get a lot harder and a lot easier in a lot of ways. And you'd be surprised when they can start actually making your food like something from Star Trek. A lot of these fake foods are going to go by the wayside, but there's still going to be a desire for the real thing. There's always going to be a need for the real thing. I mean, hell, tomorrow I'm putting even more tomatoes in to replace the ones I lost with this frost because we need them. Okay. And let's see. Nope, I went over that. Just making sure. And here's one thing. Now, since we're all here, we all seen the movies and stuff like that. What's one of the things they always have for post-apocalyptic or near post-apocalyptic? Like society is just holding on by the tiniest thread. You know, you got to love it when it's nice and lean like that. They talk about overpopulation. That's not going to happen. We're already on a pretty steep decline right now. The only places around the world they're having a lot of kids are the places that don't even have cell phone service yet. Okay, as soon as they get that, the population drops like a fucking rock. And I can understand if anybody here is listening is like a generation, I think Z or Alpha or whatever it is, the ones that are just now out to buy homes. Holy jumping Jehoshaphat's. I can see why they're not having kids. And you guys can help me out here. Which podcast was it where the guy basically screamed at the host? It was a female host, I think, said, I'm a mammal. I'm like 20 some odd years old. I don't have kids. Do you have any idea what kind of stress you have to put a mammal on to not have children, to not have offspring? And he makes an excellent point. So anyway, that was my thought experience for the night. And we went about 40 minutes of me ranting and raving and yelling and screaming and not really screaming and stuff like that. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to burn my throat again. And I am going to put on a media asset before we jump over into the chat box. And we did that one. So how about this one?
Armor piercing, loading.
I don't think you were missing at that range. All right, as far as somebody getting their head taken off, I don't remember talking too much about that. I know I talked about the guy getting vaporized by the 25 Mike. I know the one guy who played Russian roulette and lost. Unfortunately, that was one of our guys. But I don't remember talking about the guy's head coming off. Maybe I'm losing it, guys. I hope not. I mean, the squishy bits in here got to keep working. Let's see. Gonna start here with Douglas saying, "Hey guys, everybody doing today? Sorry I'm a bit late. Was watching Home Alone 2 traps again." Yeah. The kicker with Home Alone 1, yeah, would they have most likely ended up in the ICU? Absolutely. Would all of them be lethal? No. About a third of them have the potential to be lethal. You know, a nail through the foot and then falling 4 feet onto the concrete. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt a lot. But that's not gonna kill you. Sliding down the stairs covered in ice, not gonna kill you unless you literally fall head first into something. You know, burning the hand enough. No, it's not gonna kill you. The blowtorch on the head, that's gonna cause some problems, but not gonna kill you. The only one that would kill you was the paint cans to the face. If they were full. That has enough to literally crush the face in all the way into the brain. It wouldn't just knock out a tooth. I mean, they're done. Home Alone 2, almost all those traps were lethal. Especially the arc welder. He's literally clicking the amps up 180, 200, 220, 240. I'm like, dude, it only takes like an amp and a half to kill you. Like, done. Your heart just stops. You don't sit there like some cartoon. No, absolutely not. Holy shit balls. That was a horror show. I mean, I'm sure at that point he was saying,
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
But yeah, all the falls, they got the lead pipe across the face, both of them, and then send them back another 40 feet on the concrete. Hell no. Let's see. Yeah, War Sniper glad he won. You won. Let's see. Alan says, however, you want to run it with the story. Oh yeah, now you sent me that via email. I did see it. I obviously haven't got to it yet, but I did see it. War Sniper. No, I actually checked right before I started this. I didn't see any clips. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I could try opening it again. Well, last time I did that, I lost the stream. I'll have to check again. But no, I double checked, and no, I didn't see him. I don't know what's going on, Sniper. It's just that's odd. He also says, Sin, do you remember the name reference in the last episode? Which one are you talking about? I mean, you know what? See, I got a fresh notepad this time, so I don't have last week's. Last week's over here. Let me see. This is why I write shit down, people. I will not remember. Damn it. God, which name? I got a couple one here. I got like Beat Sabers and stuff like that here. I will say that I do have to also say you guys were right. It was War Thunder and not World of Warships. I double checked with the whole B-52s on there, and actually, please tell me somebody has a video of somebody realizing this moron has taken an entire clan of B-52s above and ruining the game for everybody, because they're going to lose the game just because they're dropping bombs the whole time and just trying to make a video instead of actually playing. And somebody went up and actually shot them down. You know, it would be a great video for that is they're going up with their B-52s and the most you can get is like a saber or something like that, go after the lead bomber, just nose to nose that bastard, and just go guns blazing right in, and just like either lift up at the last possible moment if you know you got him, or boom, kamikaze the bitch. That would be something. All right, Joseph here saying microgravity hell. Fuck that. And there's Douglas here. War Sniper says, oh yeah, yep. Remember the name, yep. I wondered who would have got it. I wondered who was going to get it. Yes. If you guys didn't get it on the last chapter of, who is what inside, he actually did reference the Remember the Name by Fort Minor. And I was just thinking of a clever thing for him to say. And there was actually several other things that he referenced in there, but nobody mentioned it. Can you guys think of a few? Especially since the character's name is Todd. War Sniper saying, that's a nice enhanced butt right there. Or were you talking about this butt right here? Let's see. Sniper says, about my ship story, there's a side story in the making. Excellent. First episode is already sent. Okay. I believe I saw that. I think it's on the printer right now. Doug says, there's a pistol that some of you guys might like. It's called a Keltec KP50. I have no idea what that is. You know what? I'm going to write that down over here. And, oh, damn it. Open my notes here. Oh, you know what? I'll just open YouTube. They'll actually do it. What is this? Keltec. Where am I looking? KP50? Oh, okay. Oh, that tiny little thing. That thing's got a tubular magazine. Are you kidding? I honestly, I think it's an okay design. However, for me personally, no. But I do have to say,
All hands to battle stations.
as we have a $10 super chat from Skip, as he says, somebody needs to make a game called Misandry, where the player charges the guy through with thought crimes. Modern audiences will love it. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh man, oh that. Oh, Skip, you evil bastard, you. Oh, you evil genius, evil genius. That is just hilarious, man. That is just freaking great. Oh man. Oh, Brian's here. Hey, Brian, you forgot to yell about you before because we were talking motorcycles. Anyways, and I just stabbed myself. That's smart. All right. Thank you very much, Skip. Let me crank back up here. And okay, there's the KP50. Yeah, I could have a magazine up to 100, 5.7 millimeter. That shit's heavy. That I actually have a Charlie Beta 2, and that it's like I carried that thing just in case I got in something real heavy. I can just snap that thing on. It's a double spiral magazine, and it feeds wonderfully. But to tell you what, I tried loading it up and walking with it. It just dug into my stomach the entire time. Let's see. War Sniper says, my problem is that I just know little about things like colonizing a planet and how to land or launch off a planet. Okay, that's like, there's like 20 different ways to colonize effectively and like 300 different ways to launch off the planet. And let me scroll down here really quick because, oh, somebody is rolling in. Hey, you know, you can turn that. There you go. Brian is here. He says, great stories. Thank for the one-off story about Angels from Hell. Yes, you are welcome. And that's what I was talking about with the, we were talking motorcycles and all that before. And let me put you on here. All right. And like I was saying before, somebody said I wouldn't do it for 2 weeks. I need to prove people wrong. And like I said, well, I'm just trying to get that office built so I can have room to do everything because it's in the small confined space. Guys, you can't see it, but I've got shit everywhere. And sometimes it's hard to focus on things. So anyway, War Sniper, as far as colonizing a planet, all you have to do, the first thing you do, the very, very first thing you do, what type of planet? That's easy. Is it a dead world? Is it a frozen world? Is it a jungle planet? Is it a deciduous world? Does it have seasons? How many stars and stuff like that. Once you figure out what type of world it is, the rest is easy. Because if you already have foliage there, if you have a breathable atmosphere, you don't have to fuck around. You don't have to terraform shit. But if you're talking about a dead world with no atmosphere, that's a lot of work. That's multiple terraforming ships on the planet for a couple of decades while you still harvest chunks of ice that drop onto the world. That's because there's nothing to work with at that point. You need something to work with. Leon says, I think I probably need to see this game. I've heard that someone was in that game or doing acting in that game. You're talking about the Pragmata? Yeah, a lot of people were saying they wanted to switch the voice actor with, what's this guy? The guy that does the face of the Mundaneorian. That dude needs to just go away. He's goofy. He's just straight up goofy. You can't see him in public without him doing something completely completely stupid. So anyways, Douglas saying, I remember operated assist telephone. Yep, me too. Hit the 0. Wait until operator. Yes, can you connect me with number blah, 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 blah. Yes, I need direct line to the police non-emergency line, please. And they'll connect you right there. It is what it is. And that's one of the things that technology made obsolete. There is no telephone operators anymore. See, War Sniper says, Sin, Ukraine is building up a 25,000 robot ground drone to replace the soldiers on the front right now as we speak. Yeah. Now on that list of things I said that new technology is going to push out. Remember, I did mention soldiers are going to be one that they're trying to get rid of because that's considered a major financial drain and also a resource drain. The kicker is, as soon as they have this technology, it's going to be easy for anybody to build their own drone and send them into combat. But you know what? Drones can't outthink a human. They think they can. They think they can. They think they can. They think they can, but they cannot. There's always going to be one way or another to beat the system. How do I know this? We were told for a long time when I was a private that you cannot beat the optics on a tank. And it was just absolutely hilarious. By the time I got to E5, we knew every tip, trick, and option there was, and we were hamming those guys up left and right. It was hilarious. In particular, if you can beat the FLIR system, the thermal, they are FUCKEDAGAN, fucked again, fucked again, they're fucked again, fucked again. And I look and I see Guardian Sage.
May the Schwartz be with you.
With a $5 super chat, as he says, thank you for the stories. Question, what official sci-fi franchise has a warship that can challenge a battle cruiser? Hold on, for some reason, I'm missing the last of your comment here. With Class 8 technology. Okay, I'm going to ask, which classifications are you going by? Do you have any, how many? I go vague on those specifically because there's so many different ones. So anyways, Which one has a warship that could challenge that? Or which are you talking? You're gonna have to verify which franchise and which class, because every franchise uses a different technology, which means each one is a different class. I hate to say this, but you gotta narrow that down. So many writers just randomly grab shit out of the air and pull shit out of their ass that it's, again, you're gonna have to narrow that down. But thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Very much appreciated. Oh yeah, Douglas here is talking about the Home Alone 2 with the bricks to the head. At that distance, it will cave in your fucking skull. And I'm not even being facetious. I mean, literally turn it into a taco shell. I mean, just absolutely fucking nuts. Lena wants to know about another weapon system here. Let me type it in so I know exactly which one I'm talking about. See, I don't know these nearly as well as someone else I know. He knows all these weapon systems. Bizon. Okay, let me look. Yeah, that's the same thing with the underslung. I'm just not a fan of the tubular magazines, man. I've seen them jam. Now they might have fixed them, which would be great, but you also got to remember, with all the ammo towards the front, it's like having a loaded 203. That shit gets heavy. I've actually had those and had to do reaction drills where you go ready up and you're down, ready up, and you're doing that for hours. Your arm is just ready to just give. I've actually seen guys not be able to raise their arm, which was kind of funny because they go, if you don't raise your hand, if you don't raise your arm, I'm going to slap you across the face. And you go up and you see them raise their shoulder, but their arm just doesn't work. And whack, you don't hit them hard. It's just to let them know, hey, you better start hitting the gym before your arm goes completely numb, and then you're completely done. War Sniper says, I sent the mail out about 2 hours ago with the title World of Warships. You know what? Bear with me, guys. I'm going to go in. I am going to check. Hopefully I don't lose you guys. Ah, you son of a bitch. Okay. Please tell me I'm still there. I'm still here. Okay. Let's see. Well, there you go. Oh, and guard sent stuff too. Oh shit. Okay. And they are currently I'll check them in a few minutes to make sure they actually download, and I'll see what I can do. They did. There goes one. Okay. And I don't know about the other one. Here's Johnny. And okay, here we go. Okay, there goes one. All right. I'll have to see about uploading those the next time we take a short break. But yeah, they came, no joke. I'm looking at them. They showed up. Oh, damn, that's funny. They showed up when I went into what I call lockdown around here, where nobody better bother me unless there's a fucking emergency. And that's when I was making sure all the pictures and everything was up and everything's doing my final checks. And yeah, I didn't get them 2 hours ago, Sniper. I'm going to tell you that straight. Okay, so you're talking about colonizing Mars. Now, Mars is affectionately given dead world status because nothing is growing, not even bacteria. And because of that, and because it has almost no atmosphere, it does have an atmosphere, but you're going to choke to death on it. The way to colonize that world is to actually land a ship, and underneath the ship, you're going to have to dig down and start making a subterranean city. You're going to have to start using whatever materials you dig out to reconfigure and then use to make your walls, your base, your plumbing, and all the other shit. Your actual the top of where your everything's going to be, that ship is probably never going to move again. It's just going to land. So the thing is, you can't land an actual colony ship. Colony ships are too fucking huge. Like the USS or UNSC Infinity is a colony ship. It was never meant to be a dreadnought. They retrofit it to be a dreadnought. It was meant to be an evacuation colony ship, but you can't land that on a, you're not supposed to. I mean, I know they did it in Halo 4, which I thought was freaking ridiculous. Even if you touch down at 5 miles an hour, the amount of weight on the lower decks would be enough to crush them. So absolutely not. He continues, I don't think the human race has terraforming ships before the MC's story happens in my ship. Oh, 1 decade before. No. He's in the story, My Ship. The character is about 1.5 centuries to 2 centuries old. He's that old because the technology allows him to stay at a certain age. Pure and simple, full stop. That's all it is. He mentioned how he worked for a couple decades, like just nonstop, to able to get up enough resources to afford his original ship, because they're not cheap. They still cost resources. So yeah, if I said a decade before he got there, then I must have misquoted, because there's no way in hell you can terraform an entire planet that fast. And don't I feel like an idiot, because we have an MTF guard, and he is
For the Emperor!
As he says, I'm alive. Couldn't get the damn super jets working correctly. Kept saying there was an error in the system on that. I didn't have enough money. You know, I've been seeing that a lot lately. That's actually something kind of weird. I don't understand that. I had the same problem with MGTOW TV trying to recharge everything. I'm like, dude, I know how much money I have. I got plenty for now until we actually do the downstairs, and then I get the driveway done. Then I won't have any money. But I mean, it is what it is. And then, of course, Guardian Sage is back.
May the Schwartz be with you.
And let me write that. Okay, he says, technology rating system level goes from 0 to 10, then changes to a class, which goes from 1 to 10. Some people consider the classes to be levels 11 through 20. Level 0 being proto technology, and class 10 is God. Okay, if you're at class 8, you're literally able to delete entire star systems. If you're going by this. Okay, I know you're talking about level. How do you guard against that? You don't. Pure and simple. You just hope they don't. It's literally mutually assured destruction. By the time they see whatever energy wave is coming their way, whoever it is going to try to defend themselves by launching their energy waves. And yeah, everyone's just fucked. Everyone's just fucked in the asshole. That's all it is. So yeah, let me see. Did you said level 8? Shoot, it's way up here somewhere. Should be right here. Okay, I'm not sure where it is. I'm not going to spend too much time. If I remember, you said level 8, and again, at that much, you don't defend against that. You're just done. Let's see. There's Guardians, and then Lean is here. In video games, an assault rifle is a type of rifle that you attach to a different gun underneath. A shotgun, 40 millimeter grenades, or a 50 caliber rifle, depends on how fancy the video game is. Do you have a big ship with a big gun in your fleet, a destroyer or a dreadnought that can challenge a battlecruiser? In my fleet? For which story? If you're talking about the one for my ship, yes, they could. They absolutely could, because they're basically, the dreadnoughts are a upscaled version of the Infinity. That's what makes them so dangerous, is actually quality over quantity, because they don't have enough time for quantity. So what they do, they just supplement that with drones and torpedoes and missiles and all the other fun shit. Oh, man, that burns. Got to pop a top on something else. Something like this. And as you guys can see, you're a bunch of bad motherfuckers. All right. Let me get that out of here. 2 points. Now, the thing is, just one thing. When he says battle cruiser, there's, in science fiction, there's absolutely no difference between a cruiser and a battle cruiser, unless you are trying to disseminate between a civilian cruiser class vessel and a actual dedicated warship cruiser class. That's the only difference between the two. Just like a dreadnought without weapons is a colony vessel, hence the UNSC Infinity. Let's see. Guard here. Oh, yeah. By the way, Godzilla -0. Godzilla hits New York. New York, New York. The last few seconds of the trailer shows him standing next to the Statue of Liberty before it cuts to black. The black. Yeah, actually, I did bring this up on Redonkulous when I was on there. If you guys haven't seen the Redonkulous Regiment, just go ahead and check that out. They're on tomorrow. I believe 8 o'clock Eastern Standard is when they start. Anyways, here's my issue with that scene in particular. But I have to preface with this. I saw Godzilla -1. It was fucking awesome. Okay. Just like the one I was talking about before, the characters and everything else outside the main story is done exceptionally well. There's only one gripe I have about the whole thing as far as storyline on the, well, actually two, but we'll just stick with, I'm not doing spoilers, guys. But yes, Pragmata, just like Godzilla -1, were just good because the characters were just so fucking good. Pure and simple, full stop, brake check, neutral slam it, just right there. The reason I have a problem with Godzilla walking past the Statue of Liberty is this. Godzilla, his territory was the Pacific, in particular, the Pacific Ring of Fire. That he would actually suck out the energy that was around there using the hollow earth, because all the tunnels made things unstable, which caused the earthquakes. So what the fuck is he doing in New York? Now, if they can explain that, I'm all fucking ears. If they explain it well, I'm good. I got no complaints. Okay. They just can't have him show up for no fucking reason. Was this Escape from New York Godzilla style now? What the fuck, over? Okay. They have to do this right. They did such a good job with the first one. It would be an absolute travesty if they fucked up the second one. But I'm going to go see it. I'm definitely going to go see that one. I didn't see the Mario movie, the second Mario movie, because honestly, having Jack Black as Koopa was enough to turn me off. The whole Hail Mary I heard was great, but unfortunately I heard too much and now I know how it ends and I'm just like, eh. So we'll see how this one goes. And Leonid jumps in right behind and says, I really want to see Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. You could not keep me out of the theaters if you motherfucking tried. If I'm breathing, I'm going to go see that fucking movie. Because you know what? Even if I walked in and it's a trap, I don't even care. Because I'm going to fight through everything and I'm just going to take him down with me. And it's just, yeah, I'm just, I want to see that freaking movie so bad. It's crazy because Spaceballs still a classic. I have a copy downstairs. I refused. Somebody actually offered me money for the disc, and I told him to go fuck himself because I'm not giving that one up. All right. Guard also says, and yes, everybody was referring to Pragmata as BioShock 2 2.0. Okay. I never played BioShock. I just know some of the characters. And I know that Rule 34, the living shit out of the female main character. Seriously. What is with them CGIing her doing all sorts of weird shit that I really don't want to see her do? I mean, a lot of it's just creepy. Anyway, Guard continues with, yeah, they wanted it to be that, but the executives said it would sound too greedy and it would make people think that they were just coming for money. No, they set it up. They just do it.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
What is wrong with them? That's a 30-some-odd-year-old joke waiting for the punchline. And what they're gonna kick us in the nuts while they do this? What the fuck? Oh, just it's causing some
emotional damage.
This is just crazy, guys. This is just crazy. Yeah, he continues. Even though at the end of Spaceballs 1, like I said, they literally said they wanted to name the second movie The Search for More Money. Yeah, exactly. It's a 30-plus-year-old joke waiting for the fucking punchline. Oh, God. And I'm sure the executives are doing the whole.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Just want to, yeah. It makes me so bad and so mad. I want to choke these guys with a cordless phone. And by the way, you can do that. You actually just shove the whole thing down someone's throat. Don't ask me how I know that. All right. War Sniper here says, okay, good to know. You know, I didn't think about that. So the colony ship lands and they dig down. Yeah. That way it's already, you already have the top. You already have something sealed. You just can't dig too close to the edge, and then you just have to build around it. Now, if you already have your base for the tunnel that's going to slide down like a sleeve, or for lack of a better term, a condom, that's going to help you out a lot. And you can, depending on the size and shape of the ship, you can have multiple tubes going down. And once you get down low enough, the loss of air is going to be minimal, if anything, because there's too much shit for it to go through. And then you can just spider web out and build everything up. Lena says, the Martian conspiracies are probably insane. Depends on what you think there is on Mars. Not a whole hell of a lot on Mars, really. They've scanned that thing so many freaking times. People have been looking at it with microscope or telescopes so fucking powerful, they're almost hard to understand how powerful they are, and they haven't seen anything. Now, if there is something, I'll gladly get the mud on my face on that one. No problem. Okay? Prove me wrong. Go ahead. Prove me wrong. I dare you. But I doubt I'm wrong on this one. Let's see. War Sniper says, then how long was it back in the story that the first human warp capable ships and the colonization ships left Earth? Because that is where the side story plays off of, or as well as the first part. For an exact timeline, I would have to go back into the story myself. Don't forget, I've done so many that they tend to get jumbled up here. And I don't want to give you the wrong thing right now. I would say at least a century earlier. Now, the whole thing about the character being that old was something that was meant to play in later in the story. So since we've already done that, you don't have to worry about spoilers or anything like that. But yeah. Let's see. Wars Number says, I think Ukraine has a field day at the Strait of Hormuz. Why has it got to be the Strait of Hormuz? What about the gays of Hormuz? Don't they get a say? I had to put that in, guys, because some guy trolled a college student with that same question, and she went off on this rant about systemic oppression of the gay of Hormuz. I'm just like, wow, just holy shit. And by the way, I'm not kidding at all. She actually did go off on that. Ugh. Let's see. Lena says, Americans like Godzilla in New York City? I don't think Godzilla should be. Honestly, I think Godzilla should remain in the area he was in. Japan, the Philippines, China, Eastern Russia, like Vladivostok and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it to me, it's like they're trying to placate to an audience they shouldn't be placating to. But you know what? I'm gonna hold on that, and I'm going to see, if they did a good job. I hope they do. I really do. I enjoyed the first one so much. I do not want them to make an ass of themselves on the second one. And the last thing I need is for them to act like they can't use a sniper rifle anymore because
X doesn't trust me right now. Really? Why not? Because I got to use a sniper rifle and I ended up unloading a round into her ass. Hey, chicka bum bum. Caboose, what did I tell you about that? Sorry.
Yeah, Wars Number saying, I see clickbaits of that, and they do not have a field day. Oh, and they do have a field day. Yeah, yep. Again, it's as soon as they, the music kicks in, that boom, 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 that really deep music. Which, by the way, I hope their family still gets royalties for that, because that just, it's iconic. It's like the Jaws anthem, Doug is saying, there was a movie that had Godzilla in New York City. Yep. Taking a dump and laying eggs in Liberty Gardens Stadium. Was it Liberty Gardens? Yeah, you're right. It was the garden. It also showed at least one egg escape the destruction. Yep. Even though it should have cooked like the rest of them because I don't know. I don't think the eggshell was going to be that strong. But whatever. I didn't actually make that one. But yes, and that one was And they're still remembered for one line. That's a lot of fish. And I'm just like, yeah, duh. Draven says Spaceball 2 is actually called The New One. So are they going to rip it? Because if they rip a new one, I mean, that might work. Then if there's going to be anybody who can do a good satire, it is going to be Mel Brooks. He is the man when it comes to satire. And the only other people that came close were the Wayans brothers before they basically got castrated by their own studios. They're trying to come back. We'll see how it goes. It looks like some of the studios are finally saying, you know what? This woke shit's not making us money. Let's go back to offending people like George Carlin, Sam Kinison, Al Bundy, all those folks. They got no problem just ripping you in the face. And I'm sorry, you put some of these snowflakes and have them watch 80s and 90s television, it's only they'll lose their mind. Because we just do things, And, as they're sitting there trying to watch a comedy like this, of course, we'll walk up and go, why? I need to put that on the soundboard. Why so serious? Skip says, I can explain Godzilla being in New York City. The short, he made the wrong turn in Albuquerque. Oh man, coming in with the old jokes that are still funny. Oh man. Oh man, you didn't even have to put the Bugs Bunny thing in there. I knew that's what that was. Oh man. I even pulled out, unfortunately, I only got so many buttons, so I pulled out the Bugs Bunny. Oh, you know, this means war. Oh man. And I'm thinking,
God damn it!
why didn't I think that one up? Oh, I'm going to have to send that in to Redonkulous tomorrow. The thing is, I can't watch him for very long because I got to be up so damn early. But yeah, that skipped out. That's funny. Oh, damn, that was funny. Whew, okay. Okay, calm down. Need drink. Okay, Warsnurber says, okay, so 100 years, there's a difference between the side story and the main story. That's enough time for the Titan Destroyer and its fleets to be built up to be ready for the Battle of Venus. Well, the thing is, Venus was building itself up. At least that when the main character in a ship arrives, it is just Venus's fleet. Remember, there's 5 different factions there, and they're all vying for position, but they understand whoever owns space. So they pretty much control where all the resources go, which would choke everybody out. So no one's going to allow that. But if one person gets too big for their britches against one, all the others are going to come in and kind of keep kind of a rough balance. So it's kind of a mutually assured destruction once again, which means just like the same fuck up that we did, we just said, oh, we just need more, and then they can't stop us. Now we have enough to destroy the planet 70 something times over, yada, 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 blah, 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 which was why there was so many Venusian vessels. Now, as far as if you wanted to say that the Titan that showed up was the initial one, go nuts. Go nuts. Just make sure you get the call sign right. I have it written down somewhere. I have shit everywhere, so I don't have the notes for that one. But yes, that's easily a doable story, which is also why there would be multiple Titans coming from Earth and coming from Mars. Don't forget, Mars has to protect itself. Even though it doesn't focus primarily on military, it still has to protect itself. Force Number continues. Great. I thought that I only had 20 years or lesser to set every piece up in the story. No, you got plenty of time. Let's see. Douglas says, any Spaceballs 2 needs to have a cameo of the aliens chest buster showing up again. Hello, my lady. Hello, my honey. Hello, my lifetime. I thought that scene was just weird. The thing is, I hadn't seen Aliens. So as a kid, I'm sitting there going, what am I watching? You know, after Aliens, when the guy goes, oh, not again, and it's the same actor. Yeah, that was funny. Guardian says, if Class 6 is mutually assured destruction, what is Class 6? Class 6, you're looking at multiple, how do I put this? Think Starkiller base, not taking out an entire star system, but say like this one, you'd be able to probably take out 3 or 4 planets without a problem. Basically creating your own small supernova at that point, but not one big enough to wipe out an entire star system. That's what you're looking at, Class 6. Roughly. That might be 7. It's I don't even have them written down. So but that wouldn't be too hard to figure out. You got to remember, if you're going from Class 0, which is basically a BB gun, to Class 10, which is God, you got to remember that they break down from Class 10, which is God, to Class 9, which is basically demigod status, to Class 8, which is holy fuck, please don't use that weapon, to and literally half and half and half and half and half and half and half all the way down. So you got to be very careful when you calculate these, because that's how those will usually go. Going up here. Oh shit! This thing's jumping. Guard says, I'm trying to remember the name of the manga, but there's a manga where the hero gets betrayed by the rest of his party and the countries, and of course he wants to get revenge. Yeah. But there was a slight twist. The hero is more than willing in the first chapter to blow his own body up to take them all out. Sadly, due to his cheat skills being stolen, the hero party survives. As a result, the MC loses both of his arms and legs and spending the next 8 chapters using magic-powered robotic limbs to relearn how to do everything. Dude, I have never heard of this. As a result, and this resulted in MC losing both. Okay. Oh, yeah, it's also revealed that the hero party, as usual, is a bunch of corrupt posers. Or poses, who would be more than happy to watch the world burn, as if it might means they stay in control. I can't find the manga anywhere before the stream ends. I'll be more than happy to send. I don't even know this one. I don't even have time to read manga anymore, unfortunately, because there are some that were really good and are just now coming out as anime. There's another one coming out, and if you guys like I don't want to say sweetheart, but I'm having trouble finding something else to say. Just wholesome. Just one of the most wholesome ones you'll ever do. And this manga came out years ago. It's a retired frontline soldier. He just wants a peaceful life. So he gets a piece of land out in the middle of God's nowhere squared. And he goes there. He doesn't realize that in this God's nowhere squared, he actually crosses a magical boundary that goes into their idea of orc territory. Now, their orcs are not ugly at all. The only way you can tell they're orcs is it's a different shade of skin, and it's got one spiky horn out the top. Okay, kind of out the forehead. That one was very sweet. It's going to go over very well with the more. I need to find a girlfriend type folks, or with women. Women are going to love that shit. The dude's seriously a badass. When he swings his sword, something is definitely cleaved in half. He's like Guts on steroids, like from Berserk. So yeah, it's still. I want to see it completely turned. One of the ones I was glad got turned into an anime was the Reborn as a poor noble in a interstellar empire. The manga is a lot better. The manga is very it's dirty at parts. It's excessively so. However, or I should say, but it was still really good. It's better than the anime. I think they cleaned up the anime and kind of pussified it a little bit. However, they still did a good job. They hit the high points. Is what they got? Okay, War Sniper says the Titan Destroyer is 270 kilometers long. Or is it 280? I have to look it up. Say it's one who carries 8 Avatar class Ameri Titans at 6 kilometers in length. I don't know if the Earth and Mars Titans are that long too. I'd have to check my notes. I don't want to say anything, man. I know you're sitting there probably with a pen, like, what's he going to say? I don't have the notes in front of me, pure and simple. Now, all you have to do is remember that a Titan-class destroyer only has to be a quarter size of Luna itself to be anywhere from a quarter to a half size minimum of Luna to be considered a Titan-class ship. Titan classes are based on size. They're one of the only ones that get a designation based on the size. You can have a Titan-class destroyer, a Titan-class dreadnought, a Titan-class carrier. You can have a Titan-class whatever. Titan-class is just size. And let's face it, size matters. But, it's, yeah. I think Yeah. Anyways, I'm not going to go too much in that one. Where was I? Douglas is here. He says, if using railguns in sci-fi stories, the speed of the projectile is based on how long the rails are and how big a slug you are tossing at a mag coil. Actually, the size has less to do with speed and velocity as the actual amount of power you're pushing through. Because you can actually short barrel that son of a bitch and just pump more juice through it. Granted, you're going to run down your barrel faster, a lot faster. However, it will work. The only reason for the longer barrel is to assure, accuracy, for lack of a better term. It's just that simple. That's the only reason for a longer barrel on a railgun. Now, railguns can be actually quite short, but again, you're going to have a tumble effect at that point. There's nothing to stabilize it once it gets the flight going. But you don't have to spin it or anything to try and maximize the hit. There's no fletching involved. It's just go straight. It'll go straight if you have a longer barrel. Now, I will say this. If you're using a short-barreled railgun and you want to get it up to speed that fast, you're going to end up with, as we all know, every action has equal and opposite reaction. That much mass moving at that much speed, leaving in one direction, is going to push back and recoil in the opposite direction with that amount of force. A slower buildup is going to give you time to stabilize so that when it leaves, there's not as much. You're still going to get some, no doubt about that, but it's not going to be as strong, theoretically. However, every time I do the math, the numbers get very, very close. But as far as the railguns, like I said, it really depends on how much juice you're using. You can actually get that sucker up to near light speed really fast. It's surprisingly quick. It's just, can the equipment take it? Can you take it? And oh, damn, that's right. I took that button off. Okay, never mind. But yeah, I will say this, though. If you have a longer barrel, there is one extra bonus on that, is that if you're running a lot of juice through a longer barrel, the chances of you speeding the projectile up even more is there. Absolutely. There's multiple large factors that go in there, but just a few. And I keep looking, and what do I see?
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
That is Skip coming in, as he says, the author of both Martian and Project Hail Mary, is Andy Weir. Yep, I heard about that. But my stories are better. Okay, cool. He's got his start in the movies by doing Amazon Kindle stories. Just a suggestion. The only problem I have with the making of those stories is I would have to quite literally stop this, and I would have to go through and start typing everything out. And even if I did the talk to text, I'd have to go through them constantly. And for anything that's going to be down on print like that, I would be spending an extra probably day or two going over everything before I even start. Yeah. I appreciate that. And I see someone who is still
For the Emperor!
Throwing in another $10 super chat. And Guard says, oh, well, I got money to spare. Plus, I just found out the Xbox just dropped Game Pass Ultimate price by like $10. So I am more than happy now. Thank you, current CEO, for listening to your player base. Well, the thing with the Xbox is they are, like all the consoles out there, they are dying. One of the things that killed them was the loot boxes. That pissed a lot of people off. Strictly DLC has got another bunch of people pissed off. No physical copies. I know that was enough to get me to go away. but it is what it is. So, all right, guys, I need to take a small, quick break. I don't know what this is, so I'll just put it on. And great, the file didn't load. And oh no, I just woke the demon. As he sends in a $10 super chat. And he says, Sin, I think there was a misunderstanding between us when you sent the message on Discord. I was telling you that I sent you money on not the first comment. So you made me the winner for the first day, but no shout outs that week. Damn it. You know what? I put a little note here to give you an extra week on that one, Demon. My fault. Sorry, everybody, on that one. I'll do better. I keep trying to do better, and it's, you know, sometimes it's not the easiest thing, and I keep trying to put this freaking thing up here, but it won't go. Oh yeah, sure. Now it works. Anyways, trying to throw a few more images up so I can have some more to toss at you guys here. And of course, it's, oh, you bitch. And it's not letting me move. That's great. And 1 second, 1 second. All right. We even got another $10 super chat from the SS Demon. Oh, nope, wrong button. As he says, I will always send you money every Wednesday. Thank you. Unless you make a membership thing, even if I miss the live stream. And we'll always message you if I miss the live stream. Just want to be clear up the misunderstanding. We're all good, Demon. Very much appreciated. Just like I appreciate all you guys because, and I didn't load the awesome one. God damn it. As I usually have the dog going, you're awesome. Yes, you guys are. I very much appreciate all you guys. Very, 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 very much. And again, as far as the membership thing, Demon, I'm still fighting that as long as I can. But that's probably going to come in before summer's over. Just because the way the algorithm is, it tried to entice me here and gave me a run of extra views and stuff like that, kind of pushed me to the top, and now it's pushing me back down. Yeah, fun. Not really. So anyways, let me jump up back up here. I don't know where I was. Okay. Okay, there's the railgun thing. Okay, well, War Sniper saying how Farron class call in when it warped into the battle. This is Farron of the Titan Destroyer class executor joining the party. Ladies, let's ladies, let's dance. See, I don't use that one. Ladies, let dance. I usually go party time. Everybody dance. Yep. At least that's me. I've always done that one. And the thing is, as soon as you say that, people are like, oh, wait a minute. He's joking around and we're about to throw fists. Maybe I should back up here. Basically, you're showing you're too excited. But yeah, something like that would be no problem. Let's see. Doe says, example of one of my ship launched 2 rounds at 20%. I'm guessing 20% speed of light. And it's on heavy destroyer or a light cruiser, depending on who defines it. Okay. You'd have to give the rough tonnage of the destroyer and the rough size of the round before I could say too much on that one. If you're up to at least 5 to 10% of the ship's mass, yeah, everybody on board is going to feel that. It might not throw you into a wall, but they're going to know you fired. Let's see. War Sniper, he says, Wally says that has warped directly into the enemy fleet using turrets, guns, and whatever the ship has to dismantle the enemy fleet while undocking its escort fleet. Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what they showed in the cutscene with the USS Infinity, or UNSC Infinity. And I have to put it there because a lot of people use the word Infinity now. But yeah, that's exactly what they did. As soon as they came in, they immediately dropped everybody. They they doubled their firepower in like the matter of what, 20 or 30 seconds? And he continues with, Ensign, a little spoiler. The Titan destroyer warps into soul space and is not builded in soul. Oh, it's not built in soul space. Okay. Let's see. Leonid, in science fiction, battlecruiser comes out as a modern ship with enough rapid fire to challenge other ships, but not the destroyer class ships, because those ships, destroyers, are thick and chunky. All right, here's where the naming gets fucked up. Thank you, Lucasfilms, for doing this, you piece of shit. Like I said, guys, when I go downstairs, I'm actually gonna do it on a whiteboard. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how this goes. A destroyer is not meant to be in heavy fights. It is meant to go in small swarms and is supposed to be able to fight at all ranges, pretty much, with the exception of actual slug matches. It's not to be at far distance and just start beating the hell out of each other. It does not have the armor for it. It's fast attack. Just like the QRF, a quick response force is usually exclusively destroyers. Because when they get to the party, they need to be able to dance in the party. The actual cruiser needs to have at least one or two, preferably up to four if you're talking space. So one on, if it's facing you, one on the dorsal, one on the ventral, one on the starboard, one on the ventral, or on the port side, that can fire. However, if you were to turn it, those are the only turrets it has. The only big, heavy turrets it has. The rest are basically the same thing that a destroyer has. Can it fight against a battleship? Sure. Is it going to win? Probably not. However, can it bring some heavy weapons to the fire? Yes. It literally just skirts the edge between destroyer and battleship. It doesn't have as much armor as a battleship, but it definitely has more than a destroyer. It does not have as much firepower as a battleship, but definitely more than a destroyer. It is just a middle class. And that, again, it's just each of those classes are designated on what they accomplish. It's not the size. Okay. The only ones that have like vary in size are cargo, transport, and not colony, Titan class. Those actually vary in size a lot because Titan classes, once they get to a certain point, no matter how much bigger they get, they're all Titan class. Now, a lot of transports could change in size, like heavy transport, large transport, whatever it might be. However, it's almost always based on its purpose. War Sniper, I guess this was a extension, and it's a Amar of EVE Online. That faction is Titans. You know, I haven't played EVE Online in so long, guys. I don't know. I used to be a huge player on that, and I used to build up these huge fucking armadas, and then I would break them up into battle groups. I'd drive people nuts because I never had my battleships any fewer than 3. And I usually had them in groups of 3, just close enough where if one group got attacked, the other one could get in close and help. I hate to say it, but I turtled a lot. There's Guard with, I still love when the U.S. government tried to disband the Marine Corps. You know they tried to do that twice, right? That's right. When Alcatraz had one of its biggest riots and subsequent takeover of prisoners, and the Marine Corps was the only thing that they could call upon that didn't require congressional approval. That's one of the only reasons that the Marines is still there, is because they can be called up. Unlike Army guys like myself, we're sitting there like, why can't we go in? Well, Congress had its head straight up as fourth point of contact because they have some sort of derangement syndrome and they won't call you up. Motherfucker, I didn't join to sit here with my thumb up my ass. Send me. Let's see. And they pretty much took over Alcatraz with a bunch of fire incendiary grenades and handguns. Yeah. I remember getting in trouble a few times for showing people basic gun kata is what it's called nowadays. We had a totally different phrase for it. But anyways, it was, yeah, it's literally what you saw on that goofy movie where they're doing a weird dance with guns at the very end when they're hand-to-hand fighting with them. That's actually pretty goddamn close. I mean, that got to the point where I was like, I can see a few minor flaws, but that's pretty much it. One of which is if you're deflected more than once, you go in and you immediately bring your arm back down and then you're pointing. And then you can actually fire. The only thing they can do is if you see the hand go down, you actually get in close and you roll around their back. And then you're both probably dead because you're going to end up right next to each other. There's nothing you can fucking do anyway. So, yeah. A lot of that was for drama's sake. Anyways, he continues, including one guy who walked in with two 357 Magnums and walked out with both of them and a hatchet that a prisoner so happily gave to him. How'd you get that? The previous owner died suddenly. I've been hearing that one for a long time. But yeah, I mean, you called the nearest regiment. I know when they used to have those fights over in Buffalo, they were begging for us recruiters to be over there, especially any of us with combat experience. Not that there might be a video of someone who looks a lot like me forcing some kid up against the wall with their forearm across his throat. No, nothing like that. No, I'm sure that's nowhere. And of course, I'm sure it's nothing like some other guy who was taller than me who might have actually been able to pick somebody up and throw him to make the point. No, well, no, we never had to do anything like that. Demon says the membership thing would be better for me personally, but I understand. Again, I just, how do I put this? The subscription model is what's killing a lot of things. Okay, it's ruined TV because all the streaming things, you always have to pay a subscription, but you can't just pay to one. You have to pay to all of them just to watch one show, because they're all the different seasons are all over the fucking place. You almost need a subscription model just to watch your sports, because heaven forbid they're not squeezing every last drop of blood out of a rock. And you guys know my thing about video games, because as far as I'm concerned, subscription models on that are just absolutely insane and stupid. The Switch 2 being the number one right now, because if you don't do everything exactly right and pay them exactly on time, they turn your electronics into a fucking brick and fuck them in the ass with a friggin' 12-inch friggin' cock. I don't just it's just a quick way that it seems to piss everybody off, and it pisses me off. All right, Guardian says, is your computer acting like a female Chihuahua or a female Rottweiler? So it's being a bitch. Okay. Well, it didn't bite me on the ankle, so it can't be a Chihuahua. And it didn't rip my fucking arm off, so it can't be a Rottweiler. Which, by the way, on the My Pet Monster, that was going to be the breed, but I figured, nah, we'll get something a little less aggressive. I know a lot of people swear by Rottweilers. I've known some that were absolute sweethearts, but you know what? You piss them off, and they will tear you to pieces and quick. Guardian says, note, the last class of Brochette battlecruiser was constructed using Class 6 technology, the SS Raw. The first ship of his class was upgraded with Class 8 technology by the Guardian Order. Oh boy. See, this is, I hate to say it, Guardian Sage, but when you sent me your stuff and you wanted me to, I seriously had to nerf the shit out of your technology. Because with that sort of tech, they would have showed up and said, push button, end story. It would have been that fast. It wouldn't have been a story. So, yeah. We got Douglas over here. 35 I think that's supposed to be kilometer ship size, and it fires around at 40 kilotons. Sorry, 40 kiloton size makes them reload, and it takes time to reload, and that's why it has size 6 disruptors from Venus's backup. Disruptors wouldn't do anything. You're thinking either gravity, some sort of distortion field, or a inertial dampening system, which is probably what you mean by disruptors, or a better a better gravity control system, which would, make it pretty much impossible for anybody to move. But yeah, that's more than 10% the size of the ship. That you're literally going to send the ship backwards a good probably 300-400 feet before it stops. I mean, unless the engines are on full absolute burn, then maybe, because that's pretty much, they got to do weird shit like that. Like when the A10 fires, they have to have the engines restart right afterwards, because the flash from the bullets actually sucks the air out of the engines. But yeah, you would have to have some serious tech behind that. Let's see. War Sniper says, I would love a syntax lesson. Please do it in the Sarge way. I want to experience it. Even you have to post it as you in the Crazy Uncle channel. I'll do it. It's gonna be serious. So, maybe not super serious. Not super serious. Well, sort of super serious. But I'm not going to be sitting there like, what the fuck? That would just be, that's kind of a dick move. Let's see. Demon says, did you get the space train thing I sent you? Just wondering. I think, hold on. Let me, don't worry guys, I'm not leaving. It's not this one. Oh, wait. You talking about the munitions transport? Oh, shit. Almost dropped it. If you did, that's the one I just pulled off the side here. That just made, I get a homo suspicion point for that. I just pulled it off. Okay. Demon says, I have to go. Bye. I miss you guys. Later, Demon. You take care. See, Doe says, the ship main rounds are based on the Japanese World War II long range torpedoes. Okay. So the type, I think 92 torpedo, was it? The best torpedoes of the war. I don't care who says what. Those things were great. I mean, whoever designed those things, they knew what the fuck they were doing. They were a whole lot better than the pieces of shit we were using in the beginning. We got better ones later after we proved that the ones that the engineers are like, oh, you just suck. You don't know how to use them. Really? You come out on the ship and you show me how to use them in a combat situation. Well, whatever. I start to wonder if they gave our guys shitty torpedoes just to say, oh no, see, torpedoes suck. We need to only have these big battleships. Guardian says, that's why I was asking about what could potentially challenge a ship using such advanced technology. Okay, if they're using that type of weapon, a good old-fashioned ambush is all you can do. You're outmatched. So if they fire that thing at you, you're done. So the only thing anybody can do is hit it either when it's in dock, when it's in transit, whenever it's not aware. And especially if it can be somewhere where it can't use those big fucking guns, those BFG 9000s on steroids. You know, that's your best bet. That's how everything goes. That was actually the premise of Ultimate Ambush Predator, was the fact that, you know, if you're caught unawares, it doesn't matter how good you are, you're fucked. Or in their case, you're shot in the ass. Douglas here says they can take out BBS with enough hits, and cruiser or less can be shotted by a long lance. Which one? Yeah, I mean, you can, with a strong enough weapon system, as long as you hit the right spot, there'll be done. Let's see. Lena says, transport ships always require an escort from your combat ships and usually can't defend themselves. I don't like to say it. Most people don't fly a Millennium Falcon or other hero ships. Through a combat zone, you are correct. Now, I will say this. The majority of vessels until at least, let's just say maritime vessels until the past like 40, 50 years ago, all of them had gun mounts. It actually became illegal for them to use those, which I honestly think is stupid. Somebody's going to try and pirate your vessel. You want to shoot the fucker. And when I tell you to shoot the fucker, shoot the fucker. But that's where Q ships come in. And I will say, depending on the level of technology used in whichever story is being done, they always have weapons somewhere in hidden compartments somewhere. They're usually inside what's known as a blister, which is pretty much just a piece that sticks up a little bit. So it has a little bit more room for the weapon and everything else. And that is pulled away, and the weapon simply either raises up a little bit or the cover just comes across and it can maneuver which way it needs to. Very few times will you have your weapon systems just hanging out. I mean, it's like having if you're doing a transport through a peaceful area, it's like having your dick out. Why would you? You're not going to use it. Not there. I mean, even if you did, you got time to unzip, to put that thing away. Make sure it doesn't get hurt. It's because if it gets hurt, it's useless to you. That's the same way with the weapon systems. But yeah, you're right about not everybody flies a hero ship. Now, if you're, again, combat zone, peace zone, you got to watch that one. Guardian says, does that mean my most advanced ship I've designed would make the Imperium of Man quake in their boots at their peak? That'd make the entire 40K universe probably go, oh shit, let's not piss these guys off. And 40K is already unbelievably overpowered as it is. Somebody did the physics on the bolter. They said if you fired one, just the not the backblast, but the recoil and the overpressure from the other side would be enough to most likely kill you. If you have any ticker problems, your heart will just stop. War Sniper says, also, Sin, story idea. Okay. From something familiar, a way to bring back Blaze. Back one of Fenrir, his wife, has the power of the Phoenix. Even she is a devil in full human form. long blonde hair and blue eyes. That's the same one that's there, right? I have her name written down. She's the one with the blonde hairs, the first wife. Is that one you want talking about, or is this one a different one? Because I know I screwed up and said the purple hair, and he told me which way to fix that, which I will be fixing next time I'm on it. It's going to be a while before I get to that one. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't know when I'm going to get to it again. I want to. I'd like to actually finish it, or I should say, but you got to do what you can do when you can do it. He continues, the idea is that Blaze is born from her, and Blaze remembers the main MC and reunite. And the next to that, Blaze is the Ferret, his son, even if it's a Phoenix. So we're playing a game of My Two Dads. I don't know if you guys remember that show. It was kind of a goofy back in the day. That could work. Definitely could work. I mean, Blaze does remember everything. He remembered his past before. That's why he didn't freak out when he was first summoned. Most other creatures do freak out. They immediately grab on to what's there, thinking mama or dada. No, Phoenix or Blaze was fully conscious, fully sentient. He had memories. I mean, this could work. I'm not going to say I'm going to use it, but it could work. And right there, just as I scroll down, I see thought about it and it could work. You're right, it could. It's stretching and it'd pull away from the current storyline, but it could work. Douglas says, excuse me, the ship is 35,000. Okay, now that's a major difference. Okay, you're talking from tossing everybody into their face first into whatever they're looking at, or whichever way the front of the ship is, to, did we just fire? Yep, I thought I felt something. Literally, it's like if you're on a bench with somebody and they fart and you feel that reverberation, that's how much pressure you're going to feel. That's a huge fucking difference, man. That is a massive difference. There's no problem with that at all. And the thing is, I'm trying to finish the math in my head, and I'm just like, nah, the numbers are too goddamn small for that. Let's see. Sniper continues. Also, Blaze would rejoice his own power in the MC. Yeah. Well, he was already happy about that before, so I'm pretty sure he'd be happy about it now. Disruptors from Stellaris. Now, I don't know if that's a game or a movie. I can't say nothing on that. So yes, those disruptors are to disrupt the shields and nothing else. Okay. I'm not going to get too much into that. I do know energy will negate energy. Guardian also says, you have been fined 1 credit for the homo suspicion, or you have fined 1. Let me get this right, because you didn't write it down right. You have been fined 1 homo suspicion point for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute. It still makes me laugh. God damn it. I can't say that one without smiling, because Judge Dredd was one of my, or not Judge Dredd, freaking Demolition Man was one of my favorite movies as a kid. And if you can still find it on YouTube, they actually go over how Demolition Man was a feminist utopia. I'm not even kidding. I stumbled across that son of a bitch like 10 years ago. If it's still there, because that guy has not made videos in like 8 years at least, then yeah. Let's see. Draven says, any breed of canine has the capability of being aggressive and vicious given how it was raised. That's absolutely true. I will say this, though. Some of them, you could have raised them to be the most gentle thing in the world, and I've known people, they come in that we don't know what happened. We were just sitting there It woke up from whatever it was dreaming, and it just went nuts and started attacking people, started chewing everything up. We had to get rid of the dogs. It was too dangerous to be around the little kids because the kids wanted to go up and pet the dog now that it was awake, and now that it's like, this dog's going to rip their fucking hands off. So, yeah, it's all... certain breeds do have the compulsion that's a lot stronger, but yeah. Let's see. Douglas says it has the next level down main guns that sends ship on the cruiser and destroyer. Okay, the cruiser has much bigger guns than the destroyer because it's a cruiser, but anyways, okay, okay. Most of those were energy projectors, not solid state. They were pretty much mixed across. There was basically one to one. And Guardian Sage here is like kiloton, not kiloton. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mispronounced it. You are correct. Let's see. Guardian says, so regular short ton, still massive. Yes. Still enough to make your day suck if you're on the receiving end of that. See, War Sniper. Okay, he's clearing things up. Shinano. I don't know. Something about that name. Is the first wife and a Kitsune. Ravel is his 36th wife and a devil with phoenix powers. Devil princess and one of many devil pillars in hell. They can give phoenix tears that can fully heal the person in question, but not restore the stamina. Okay. Basically, like it's your standard healing potion. Well, high-grade healing potion. It won't get you prepped up, but it'll fix you up. Basically, the same thing is it'll fix you up, but it won't replace the blood, so you're still feeling kind of, ugh. That makes sense. If I plan on doing that, I'll get a hold of you, Sniper, and I'll make sure I got the details right this time. See, Draven says, shall I be your muse for the next episode of Something Familiar? When I dive into Something Familiar, guys, I will make sure it's done absolutely right. I kind of wish I had one right next to me. So oh, wait a minute. It's down here. God damn it. This right here, you see all these pages? Well, see how stacked, how tight all that text is. This is one episode. There's like 30 pages here. Okay, that's how long it takes me to do one of these. Something that's about maybe 20 to 25 minutes long, you're looking at somewhere between 8 and 10 pages. Okay, that's why those are Something Familiar takes so long, because I don't ad-lib anything. If it's not written on the page, I don't say it. That's the way that one is written. So yeah. And I pretty much, Draven, I know how I'm going to get that one going. And just not really spoiler alert, because I kind of hinted at it at the end of the last episode. The dude's done with all his episodes. You know, where he kind of loses his mind. Losing my mind. So, yeah, you'll see where that one goes. And it might be kind of weird. Actually, I know it's going to be weird. Let's see. Douglas says, is that why when ship fired their first 2 rounds, it went through the dreadnought from prow to stern? Yeah. Yeah. Those first 2 shots, those were fixed guns. That was no turret shit. Turrets are lower powered just because if they're fired sideways and the ship's not ready for it, it's gonna just jerk. These are keel mounted, which means they're a direct line straight to the engine. That's how much juice those things are pulling. Think of what was that Gundam? Epsilon, Epitomon, whatever the fuck. The one where the sword was actually linked into the reactor. And that thing could literally slice Titan ships in half with one shot. So, yeah. Yes, Douglas, you are 100% right. That is why it went from, it literally got them from both ends. The front and the back, and they met in the middle. War's neighbor says, this devil pillar is very known for their fast regeneration when the body is damaged. They heal within a second, almost. But holy water will make them unable to regenerate. Holy water and other holy things are their weakness. Okay. I will say this, Sniper. You're going to see something like that in the next chapter. It's going to probably seem like it's coming out of nowhere. It is not. Hold on. But it's yeah, you know what? I don't do spoilers. I'm not going to ruin it. So anyways, down here, Guardian says, if you were actually fined 1 credit for violation of the verbal morality statute, how long would it take you to stop cussing? Long enough for me to break the fucking machine. Because I'd be doing what they're doing over in England right now. I would just be breaking the machines. They're doing it with cameras. Because they don't want cameras in these villages. They want the cameras in London where the actual problems are. So they're going around cutting the freaking poles and letting them fall. And there'd be a lot. And the thing is that wouldn't last long. If they tried to do a verbal morality statute, so many people would be up in arms, be like, it's called freedom of speech, bitch. See, Lenin says, I remember the flying robot jet fighter in space anime from the 70s because the song is still iconic. Oh, you're talking Robotech, which, by the way, wasn't the original name when Harmony Gold stole it, which they stole everything. They even admit it. They stole everything. And then they sued everybody else because they stole it and claimed that they had rights to it. They were the first pirates. It was originally called Macross. And I'm hoping that song doesn't end up in my head because it drills in all the way and then sticks the fingers in and swirls them around inside. It is just let's see. And it was either the late 70s. I think it was the early 80s because I was in kindergarten when that shit came out. It's like 84, 85. You know, I was actually in kindergarten when the Challenger exploded, and they just looked at us like, yeah, some teacher just died right on live TV. You want to watch it? We got it recorded. We're going to play it for you 20 times. I'm 5 or 6 years old. What the fuck do I want to watch this friggin' thing explode? All right, War Sniper says, Farron has 2 other devil princesses and 2 or more devil queens in his harem, where one of the devil queens is the mother of one of the devil princess, and the devil queen and princess have the power of destruction. They are from the devil pillar of destruction.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Okay, Douglas here says, and I guarantee that the hole from the stern of the dreadnought basically took off the engines. That depends on the design. Okay, excuse me. I keep burping here. So this is the only time I drink soda, guys, so I'm burping up a storm. The reason I say that, Douglas, is very simple, is the fact that every single alien design is going to be different. You don't know if it's 1 engine. You don't know if it's 8 engines. In that same story, the original ship that he's in that actually fits inside his barn has an engine on either end. There's actually 2. Either one can actually get I even mentioned it. Either one of those could actually get him to his destination, but you have two. A ship as big as what they shot probably has a half a dozen scattered around. And that's just because you need a backup to a backup to a backup. That's just common sense. Redundancy is the only thing that's going to keep you alive. You know, it's the same thing as I just saw a quick video. I think it was from Space Dock. They were going over why you would need cryo or stasis pods when you have FTL. Well, what happens when your FTL breaks and you're going to be adrift for a few years? What the fuck are you going to do then? That's the only thing going through my mind through the whole thing. And he mentions it at the very end. You need a backup. Now, is it possible that they took out at least one or more engines? It is very possible. However, I didn't specify where the engines were. That's all I'm saying is I didn't specify where, and they could have been anywhere. War Sniper actually continues by saying, and he has one more fallen angel and an angel in his harem, and a lot more type of women kawaii species. And of course, he's got XD. And you know, again, War Sniper, I'll keep that in mind. I'll let you know if I start aiming in that direction. Guardian says, did your mother threaten to wash your mouth out with soap for language like that? Oh, she threatened. She never did. The thing is, we didn't get soap. We got the wooden spoon across the ass. And like I said before, when it broke because it was used so often that it broke on my brother's ass, and everyone just kind of stopped and looked, and there's my grandmother holding the broken end. Like, now what do I do? What do I shank him or something? You know, that was a day. Guardians, nope, I just read that. Draven says, it's all good, Sin. Time makes great stories. Yeah. I'm actually in a writer's club. I make things so fast. I can't sit there and get a whole bunch of stuff from them. It's just, I mean, because like today, I was helping my dad with a whole bunch of stuff. That's why I only got, 4 pages of the next chapter done. It's not dropping tonight. It'll drop tomorrow. But I mean, it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Let's see. Douglas says, there was a Thought Police movie with Tom Cruise from Future Crimes. Oh yeah. Minority Report. Based on your, hold on. It's based off your thoughts. I'd use something else, but I'm not going to put that little girl up there and call her a thought. That's just wrong. Yeah, Minority Report was the precognition crime police. So basically, you were charged with a crime based off what other people imagined that you did. Now, did it work? Sure. Should it have worked? No. Do they want it to work? Yes. It is. It is what it is. Let's see. Guardian says, how would a verbal morality statute be that much different, except for adults? You got me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just part of a goofy movie I enjoy. He's like, hold up. Did I say something wrong? No, you didn't say something wrong. He's talking about me. No, you haven't. No, Guardian, haven't you seen Demolition Man? It's an old Sylvester Stallone movie from back in the day. It's goofy. It's better to watch it with a 6-pack, and preferably you're 1 or 2 beers in by the time you start. Just do yourself a favor. Get a 6-pack of beer or something, or whatever you enjoy. Get a pizza and just enjoy it. Just be careful. If you start laughing, spit the pizza. Don't try to swallow. Just get rid of it so you don't choke on the damn thing. All right. War Sniper says, almost all the devil females are from the anime high school DxD. So there's a lot of info on, oh dear God. I remember that show. I haven't watched it since its first season. But yeah. That's wow. I totally forgot about that show. A guy who literally is boobies in his face constantly. At least a dozen women that want to jump on him like a bounce house. I mean, just what the fuck? And this guy is still not getting any. I'm like, just what is wrong with you? Pick one of them and just go. Get in there. Move around. I mean, yeah, first time you're just gonna be like, is it in? I'm done, you know. But I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I remember High School DxD. High School of the Dead. Now that was funny. If you haven't seen that, that's a zombie apocalypse one. And yeah, the the Matrix boobies. Oh my God. You literally have boobs moving so fast they're dodging bullets, which is kind of funny. Which is really funny. And you know, a girl in a mini skirt fighting with a katana. I mean, that's just honestly, after finding out how bad katanas actually are, I don't really care for them. But I mean, it is what it is. Draven says, the Demolition Man Feminist Theory video, it's still up. Okay, good. You guys should watch it. It's make sure you've watched the original movie first. That's very important. Very, very important. Oh, God. Douglas, your mom used castor oil? Dude, no. That's a machine oil. That's an actual machine oil. That I can taste I can taste it. Just the thought of that is just gross. Let's see. Joseph said Virginia Beach actually had a verbal morality statute for locals a few years back. I'm sure that went over about as well as a fart in church. But tourists could swear all day long. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It probably went over real well. Sniper. Oh, wait. The Fallen Angel and the Angel are also part of High School DxD. And the Valkyrie of Odin, that is part of his harem, is also part of High School DxD. Good God, man. Well, at least I know where I can get the references from. And I don't have to change Konsunes from white to purple, or in this case, purple to white. Where was I? Okay. Lena goes, I remember a few anime with the crazy chick running after the main character and begging him to screw her. At those moments, the main character would just run. Now, I never understood this when I first watched anime. I didn't see anime at all until I was actually in college. So I was really like, seriously, dude, get in there. What are you doing? Well, come to find out, in Japanese culture, since he would end up knocking them up, that's what they're saying, is nobody's smart enough to use a fucking condom. If you knock up a woman, doesn't matter if you're dating her, doesn't matter if you're married, none of that it matters. You, as a man, are required to quit school, take your happy ass to work, and work yourself 60 to 80 hours a week for the rest of your life. You are literally signing your own death warrant, which is why they were running so much. It was kind of a hat tip to Japanese culture at that point, which actually, because of all that shit and the younger generations were realizing this, that's where you got the herbivore men from, The guys who are like, I'm just not going to date because it's not worth it. But that's why they ran. They were like, oh my God, if I let myself do this, I'm going to slip one past the goalie for sure, because all Asian people are always fertile all the time, no matter what. And this, that, and the other thing. And I'm just like, what the ever loving snot rockets are you guys talking about? Ugh. Oh, shit. Hold on. This thing's moving. Let me go there. Okay. Douglas says, yeah, I still remember the taste of castor oil, even now, 5 decades later. I could, when it was used and we were cleaning up, and I'm not even kidding, we were lubricating engines with castor oil. Obviously, the stench was in the air. That's why I can physically like feel it right now, like clicking onto your skin. And then, you know, you get somewhere and you're just like, give me, I'll wash myself with Dawn soap. I'll pretend I'm a dish. Just get this shit off of me. You know, Dawn soap and what's the other one? Lava soap. Just scrub that shit. It's just, ugh. War Sniper continues. The other red-haired devil princess named Mio is cursed by her succubus friends. Why? Because it was funny, I think. So Mio gets in needy heat when the curse activates the sigil on her neck. And yes, Mio is also of the anime. I didn't know she got a succubus curse. I thought she was the primary love interest and the El Presidente of their secret society. But I never knew she got a succubus mark. Speaking of which, I have been having arguments with people on this one for months now, ever since I learned the truth about this. A succubus mark, everybody knows, it's kind of like shaped like a heart, but it's broken in the center, and then it has some decorative parts. Those decorative parts are supposed to be significant to the specific succubus. When it is on a person who is cursed by it, it is either A, down by the downstairs mix-up so that the energy flows through that, or it is on the heart. Now, it is rare that it's on the heart. Usually that is restricted for guys, and that is to force the blood flow somewhere where you really want to stop going after a while because eventually it will push your body to the point where your heart just goes. It's done. It's like straight epinephrine in your bloodstream. Now, a succubus mark is not a slave crest. And you can tell that by the fact that a slave crest is somewhere either from the collarbone section up. A lot of times it's on the face or it's on the neck. Okay, it's where it can be seen as a proof of ownership. It's a lot of mangas will put it on the hand. Someplace where it's just straight up obvious. And that's the difference between us. Everybody is like, oh, look, they got a succubus mark on their lower ass or lower back or their right butt cheek or something like that. That's not where those go. Let's see. Guardian says, does the memory curb you desire to cuss or promote your desire to cuss more? Oh, he's talking about the castor oil. I don't think that question is for me. Mine would make me want to curse more because I hated using that stuff. I hated it so much. The only other one I hated using more than that was the lubricant for the Mark 19. It looked like lard. It felt like greasy paste. You guys remember paste from school? Well, it was greasier than shit. And we affectionately called it whale jizz. It's like, hey, we're firing the Mark 19s. Don't forget the whale jizz. That shit took forever to get off your hands, and we found out later it's an extremely strong carcinogen. When I say extremely strong, I mean extremely strong. I'm lucky I don't have friggin' stuff coming out of me all over the place like Deadpool. Of course, Deadpool's not as pretty. Anyways, War Sniper says, I use High School DxD. I love the anime, and Rias is a B word and uses I'm guessing a slut to get out of her arrangement with the son. Uses the simp. Yep. To get his. Okay. Yep. All right, that was the end of the first season, or actually the only season I watched. I know there's more. I saw bits, but I've never seen the entire season. But yeah, I could understand her wanting to get out of that. I mean, the guy was a douchebag. I mean, a straight up douche. He's like, I slid out of a certain hairy ass and hit my head on the floor on the way out, so I'm just better than everybody else. No, that's not how that works. Lena says, when I was younger, I liked watching violent Japanese movies with lots of blood and tomato sauce. Yeah, a lot of times they just like went and took a glass of tomato sauce. I'm sure you know about this, where they would pretend to cut across the neck and they would just spit it out like towards the camera as they fell down. But they had to turn a certain way so you didn't see that their neck wasn't actually cut. The explosive blood packs on the torso, that was, for its time, was state of the art. Nowadays, it's old hat, but still. Sniper says, oh yeah, and wanted Issei for his dragon power to get also out of the arrangement. Yeah, she did. I mean, she uses him a lot. But then again, you're 16 years old, you're dick thinking, it kind of makes sense in a way. It's just, I look at that and I'm like, dude, have some self-respect already. I mean, yeah, you got these gazongas in your face, but unless they're in your bed, what the fuck you doing, man? I mean, all she's doing is screaming, "Gotcha, bitch!" right there. Wow, that's up high. And just, it's crazy. It blew my mind the whole time. And I'm sure there's going to be a realization when he realizes it's a trap and moves the fuck on. And of course, everybody around him is like, dude, all these women want to screw you and you don't want to?
You gotta be fucking kidding.
So, yeah. But then he's going to realize he's being played and realize
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Yep. Leonid says, oh yes, I watched School Days. Dude, never watched that. Wow. That is psychologically damaging as the first episode of Goblin Slayer. And if you know, you know. That seriously, I went to go show my nephew that first episode. Then I looked at him. I'm like, wait a minute, you're 15. No, absolutely not. I'm not. No, absolutely no fucking way am I showing you that. And it's bad, people. It's just bad. It doesn't show anything, but the insinuation of what's going on is just crazy. Let's see. Sniper says, Shinano is not part of High School D&D. Yep. Shinano is part of Azure Lane, a complete other universe, and hold in mind, Shinano has white hair, platinum hair, or snow white hair. Some of her nine tails. Somebody actually did a really good CGI rendering of a fox with nine tails. I thought that was pretty interesting. They didn't make the tails all flowy and shit. They made it like an actual foxtail, but some of them were shorter than the others, so they could actually fit. And I'm just like, okay. Guard says, speaking about music being stolen, some piece of shit was straight up stealing all my original songs from Minecraft and several other old games and copyright claiming them as his. Yeah, I've had people do that with my stories before. And in one case, I haven't mentioned this in a long time, no joke, I made the first, 10 to 20 pages of a screenplay. This motherfucker who was supposed to just print something out senior year of high school ended up saving that file. That bitch sold it. I didn't find out until years later. I'm not, and when I say years, I mean damn near a decade. Well, I end up at the same bar as him. When I came back, I found out. And everybody is like, hey, just go up there, tell him you owe him like a case of beer or something. And I found out how much the motherfucker got for it. So more than a case of beer. Anyways, as soon as I walked in, I saw him. I just lost. I was screaming, you motherfucker. He looked up. Of course, everybody stops and looks. He looks at me. I'm already running towards him. He takes off. He gets out of the bar while I'm chasing him through a cornfield. And needless to say, he might have needed a stitch or two later on because I couldn't poor man's copyright it. I had no printer to print it off. But he ended up selling it, and they made an actual little anime movie. But you can tell after the first minute, they altered the shit out of it. I mean, I think it was Android 9 or something like that. I forget. Anyway, they made it, I wrote it very serious. They made it very childish. Guard also says, and since YouTube only uses bots with the intelligence of a sack of horse shit that's been beaten with bats for 20 days, it automatically said that he was the owner for them with no evidence. It took not just a dozen different YouTubers jumping his ass online, like Moang themselves stepping in a pretty much threatening heavy-ass lawsuits against this guy for him to drop the copyrights. These people piss me off. I mean, I've had my shit stolen on YouTube before, too. I had to send a whole bunch of stuff in, and finally they pulled the other video off after about a day or two. I'm like, what the fuck? War Sniper here says, there's also Yusaka, a 9-tailed blonde, like the sun hair, and Tails Kitsune, and queen of the yokai faction of Kyoto, and has a daughter, not from Firin, also part of DXD, and Kizuka is Firin, his fifth wife. Man, these are a lot of wives. And then so many wives, you think it's that, what was it, that farmer show or anime where he's got one from every single faction. Makes you wonder if he's doing the lizard men too. Let's see, Sniper continues. And it's very good being a mother, not only in a way of caring for the dragon hatchlings, but also bearing them. She is one hell of a foxy lady that's loved having children. Good, because I guarantee since she's a kitsune, she usually has more than one, which is actually part of the lore that a lot of people don't touch at all. They just want to keep it as close to human as possible, even though kitsunes are not human. Continues with, and considering Firinin is building back his species, that's a total deal to him. Yep. Reminder that Firin has lost his species to a meteor apocalypse. Guard's like, man, I got everything across the ass. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You ever had to go actually cut your own switch? I did that once in the army. I said, you go get me a switch and you bring it here. He looked at me and goes, what's a switch? And some guy goes, don't worry, man. I got you. Come here. I'll get you a switch. I was like, you'll be back in 10 minutes. Roger, Sergeant. He was trying to get his buddy away. Came back and I grabbed the stick. I'm like, I literally went snap. I'm like, nope, give me another one. This one's not going to hold. Because, I mean, you use it till it breaks. And then Yeah, I never did use it on him. It was the threat of it being used. By the time he got there and he brought me a good one, I was like, you know what? Get your ass in formation. You got 2 seconds before I use this thing. And boy, he moved quick, especially when I swung it real fast and you're there. Of course, that wasn't my idea. I actually got that from somebody else who did the exact same thing to me. It works. Let's see. Guard says the bare hand and wet hand, the spoon, the bamboo stick, ow, the fly swatter. I remember that. The belt, never had too much of that. The sandal of fish. Oh, accidentally hooked my dad with a fishing hook under his nail, so he nailed me in the ass with a fish. Oh man. Oy. War Sniper continues. A lot of lore to go over. I understand. It's always a lot. Lean says, the name sounds like Fririn by ear. Yeah, I'm probably mispronouncing it. Sniper says, I can literally talk your ears off. Reason why I stay silent mostly. It's fine. Hey, don't worry about it. Alan says, well, I have to run, so good night, all. And I'm actually towards the bottom here. Let me actually throw something up because my throat's getting a little raw. Where the hell was I on this? Oh no, I did that one. How about this one? Shoot, I think I showed that one. How about this one? Yeah, the only thing they're missing on that is the parts that drop ship coming back down towards you. Anyway, Guardian says, yeah, it's a bit annoying how almost none of the modern media has it where the non-human mother gives birth to more than one kid at a time. Yeah, because there's only one area, where that I know of where the father's DNA causes a change in the way the mother gives birth, and that is specifically with goblins, because that is one of the things that actually turns them into complete like wackos of people or women stuck in a goblin den. Is they are literally forced upon multiple times until they start giving birth, and then once they give birth they're forced on again because the goblins don't need to be nursed, which is kind of weird. But the thing is, there's such stress on the body and the constant use of them that if their bodies don't fully break, which they usually do, the mind breaks. Or the mind breaks first and the body just goes later. But there's something in the goblin DNA that does that. It forces the gestation period to go from 9 months to 1 month. And the strain on a woman's body on that, I can't even imagine. War Sniper says, did the replays download, or did you have to try SoundLoader? I put them through the download. I gotta, you know what? Here, let me see if I can get those on here. It's gonna take a second. Where was it? Okay, I only got 2 of them. It's gonna take a second as this goes through its processes. I don't know why it only did 2 of them. Okay, they still have to download yet. As I look over here with Lena says, for the demi-human characters, I dislike it when people write them based on their animal type. I mean, I can see why a little bit, but that shouldn't, you're right, it shouldn't fully take them over unless certain criteria come into play. Now, again, with what I'm writing now, I'm going to go over that. I was in the middle of that. I had to stop. So, yeah, it'll be fully explained. This next chapter is explained a lot. All right, up to media. Oh, fuck. That torpedo's still taking a while. How about this one? Damn, that was a lucky shot, that second one. And you're lucky you didn't notice you that first time around, because he was just trying to. Yeah, I'm trying to download the torpedo one. It's taking forever, so we'll see what's going on with that one. But yeah, the how do I put this? When it comes to mixing different species like that, you have to look to see how these societies operate and where the kids are growing up in. So if they grow up in, say, the more animalistic area, well, let's take Avatar for that. You know, you have a guy whose DNA is half human. He's fucking this blue chick. So his kids are blue. However, some of them have all 5 fingers on each hand. However, or should I say, but they are growing up where their mother was. So they're going to take after her in most of, and her culture in most of the stuff. Now, if they've been raised on Earth, it would have probably been very, very different. So it really depends on how you set it up. Okay. Wow, that's a long one. 1:46 minutes. Tell you what, guys. After this goes through, we'll do our safety brief and we're going to call it for tonight, unless somebody throws something special in the comment section.
Торпеды прямо по курсу. Торпеды прямо по курсу. Вражеский эсминец уничтожен.
Yeah, that was it. I was enjoying that a little too much. I almost missed the comment section over here. Now, I will say this, since you were fighting with a larger ship, remember, you got to bring those rear guns into arc. The more guns you have firing, the more chance you're going to hit, the faster you're going to take down your target, pure and simple. However, you notice how that smaller ship, he was zigging and zagging, trying to not only dodge your shots, but he was trying to bring his weapons into arc. That's exactly what he was doing. That's why he put a couple rounds on you. Anyway, back to the comment section. War Sniper saying, well, I'm lucky the period of pregnancy is 9 months, but when the dragon mate mark has awakened and the female becomes a breeder, excuse me, it does half by 50%. So 4 months at 4.5, but the female becomes very efficient and she won't have any problems from it. Oh, that's what happens when you're working with magic. You can actually do that. Guard says, to be heard, if you want a decent show to watch, then try Ursats. I'll write it down, but again, I don't have a lot of time to watch hours of shows. I mean, if lucky, I can get a 20-minute something in. Let's see. War Sniper says, was it efficient? At it and oh yeah, I read that. Efficient. Yep. Guard says it's like a world war future where the soldiers are stuck in infinite loop. Oh, I like a world war in the future where the soldiers are stuck in an infinite loop of life and death due to a machine that keeps bringing them back to life. And sometimes the soldiers don't come outright. Sometimes they have extra features or something. Sometimes they just couldn't find enough of the soldier just through random bits. Oh, just threw random bits in. Like how one character doesn't have cheeks and just have a bunch of jagged teeth and 2 tusks, and how one guy literally has a combination of a boar and a gas mask for a head instead. Ugh. Fully functional. May I mind you, hell, there's one guy where his jaw is normal and on one side, but he continues to go up to the top of his head on the other. Yeah. It's like a Garbage Pail Kid. The entire series is just what if we made World War I made a body horror in steampunk. Trust me, World War I did not need any more horror. I mean, that's where modern technology went back to medieval times. I mean, once you got in the trenches, your rifle was essentially useless. You couldn't reload it fast enough. The bayonet would get stuck in whoever it was, and they were too goddamn narrow, so you don't have any movement. So you might as well just throw it. Either use a shotgun, pistol, or just go knife first, which is usually what folks did. Grenade, then knife. Guard also says it's only being made by 2 people, too. So for the level of animation that it has, the wait is more than worth it. Okay. Sniper says, I know, Sim, but the problem was the ship Citadel behind, so I kitted away from him while I hunted the DD. Okay. I will say this. Now I'm not good at naval stuff because I'm not a seaman. However, one of the things I found, and this was actually kind of funny, they said if you're working battleship versus battleship and you line straight up, you want to turn as fast as you can, bring up a broadside, and then crank over as fast as you can. And they got this originally from when you didn't have turrets. So as you're turning, your front turrets are still engaging. You're trying to bring your rear ones into arc. The reason for the sharp turn is so that the guy misses, and he's only firing his front. So you're still firing your front, but by the time you bring that thing back around, you're firing all your front guns have already lined everything up, so you can bring your rear guns in. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, where was I? Okay. Guard says, seriously, the MC for high school TXT gets used so much by the main cast and just casually goes along with it because, hey, look, lady, double Ks, jiggle, jiggle. Double D has to die first. Haha. It was a clan battle. Okay, so yeah, you're dealing against guys who play together all the time. Unfortunately, that's one of the things I keep hearing about. Not World of Warships as much, but certain ones again. God damn it! Like Mech War Online, a lot of people go in. They'll have in 12. It's usually a 12-on-12 deathmatch. The 12 on your side are guys that know each other. They know exactly what mechs they have. They know exactly what to do on each map. And it's just, it's not fun. You're outmatched. It's like actually going up against the clans. It's crazy. But War Thunder, it's a lot of the same thing. And unfortunately, people go in there just to do like videos and stuff. And like I said, it just doesn't make it fun for anybody else. Guards up here saying, I think the only ones who actually treated him right were the Kitsune from season 3. And that's saying something because they tried to kill him. Yeah, I could see. I didn't see season 3, so I can't say. Sniper also says, yes, in problem, if you show your BB broadside, you show your citadel and he will blow you out of the water. Okay. You guys were actually really close. I'm thinking battleships at like 20,000 yards or better. Let's see. Sniper continues. So only do that when you're far away, but when close, never show your broadside, and they pass him to hit while he's passing by or ram the bastard. Yeah. That's for sure. Yeah, War Sniper, you can tell me who they are. I haven't seen the show in like a decade. I only saw the first season. I don't know who these guys are. So, I mean, that it is what it is. So anyway, guys, we've been going, I shit you not, for about 3 hours now. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to put something more attractive than me on the screen. How about, say, this little squirt from Pragmata. And I'm just going to go through the safety brief. You guys know, if you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, well, beat their ass. Better to explain why he broke his nose than to explain to the boss why he's not coming in because he did. I actually had to slam on my brakes the other day for a deer that crossed the road. So, yeah. Sin, what is a submarine full of? A whole bunch. It's a hard vessel full of semen. Yes, it is.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
Or better yet. All right. Also, guys, remember, if your little soldier's going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. It gets moist in the bush, at least if you know what you're doing. Me personally, I'd like to keep that trimmed down so you're not having trouble finding the bat cave. Let's see. Also, if you're going to have anything stronger than liquor, guys, and you didn't invite me and I'm not there, don't do it. Wait till I get there. And aside from that, everybody, please do take care of yourselves out there. It's not the worst time to be alive, but there are places around this country that are very questionable. And it's the same way around the world. So please keep your wits about you, keep your manners about you, and whatever you do, if you have to fight, fight like it's your last day or your last chance to survive. Because sometimes it is your only chance to survive. You fight to win. So take care, everybody. I'll see you next time. Same Syntex time. Same Syntex channel. I'll catch you all on the next one. And this is your host. And